Hello again, it's Professor Gray here with you, and it's time for Unit 7 of our Listening Lab lecture series. Unit 7 is on page 26, and the title is Housing. Now, housing just means place to live. Not only house, although a house is a type of housing, but apartment, condominium, and so any kind of place to live is known as housing. So what kind of housing are we looking at here? Well, there's large apartment, suburbs. Suburb means sub, below, urban, city. So not below the city, but next to the city. In Seoul, we have Ilsan and Pundong and what else do we have? Seongnam. These are all suburbs of Seoul. Guri. They are not Seoul, but they are exactly next to Seoul. A large yard, a big, beautiful front yard, grassy area. A house in the city with a garage. A garage is where you park your car. It's like a room, basically, where the car, it's closed and with the door so the car stays warm and dry. A house in the country. Country here means countryside, 시골. Country can also mean the country you live in, like Nara. But here, the word country is 시골, countryside, outside of the city, rural areas. And a studio apartment in the city. A studio, I hear in Korea sometimes one room, but we don't really use that term in English. That's sort of a Konglish term. We call a one-room apartment is a studio apartment. One big room with bedroom, kitchen, everything, and then a bathroom. So one room with everything and a separate bathroom, of course. That's a studio or studio apartment, either one. Let's listen. Part 1. People are talking about housing. What kind of house or apartment does each person need? Listen and circle the correct answer. Go ahead, part 1. Number 1, a studio apartment. There's no point in having a big, huge place. No point means there's no reason. It doesn't make sense, okay? It doesn't make sense, no reason, no point. Number 2 is B, a house with a yard. It makes sense. It does make sense, meaning it is a good idea. There is a good reason for this. We should do this. Why? Because it makes sense. Number 3, an apartment in the city. A, commuting. Doesn't want to waste a lot of time commuting. Commuting is when you travel back and forth to work. So if you live in the suburbs, you might have to drive 1 hour to work and then 1 hour back home. That's commuting. That's called a commute, and the person is a commuter. Commuting can be in your car, on a bus, on a train, subway, doesn't matter. Any travel to and from work is commuting. Number 4, a house in the country, in the countryside. Notice she says, I work out of my house, means my work comes from my house. So even though she says, I work out of my house, it means she works in her house, and what she does leaves from her house out. Usually people who work online work out of their house or can work out of their house. A, in the countryside. Number 5A, a large apartment. Good sized means large, good sized, large. And number 6 is B, a small apartment near the airport. They both work for the airlines. Listen again and check your answers for part 1. Part 2, task 1. People are talking about where they live. What do the people dislike about each place? So each place has a negative point, something they don't like, something bad. What is the bad point? Listen and check. Number 1, the size. The size, not enough space for all my stuff. Not enough space, not enough room or area for my stuff, my things. We don't say stuffs. No, don't say stuffs. My stuff, all, or my things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Number 2 is be. Be, the condition. It's falling apart, deteriorating, worse and worse condition, worse. The carpet is stained. Stained is when the color is changed because you spilled coffee or wine or you spilled on it, so there's a stain. You could have stains on your shirt, on your rug. What else? That's all for number 2. Number 3 is A, the location. The location, it's too far, so there's a long commute and a lot of traffic during rush hour. Rush hour means the busy traffic time. Usually rush hour is in the morning, going to work. Many people are going to work, and late afternoon, early evening, many people coming home from work. So here in Seoul, we have rush hour, 7, 8, 9 a.m., and then rush hour again, maybe 5, 6, 7 p.m., something like that. Going to work and then leaving work. Busy traffic times. Number 4, C, the rent. Too expensive. The rent is too expensive. I can't afford it. If you can't afford it, you cannot pay. It's too expensive. I cannot afford that expensive car. It's too much money. I can't afford it. Number 5 is B, the condition. Things are ancient. Ancient means very, very old. The appliances are electric things you apply, you use. To apply something means to use it. So things like a refrigerator, dishwasher, washing machine, oven. These are appliances, things you use in your house. A coat of paint, a coat like a coat you wear, covers your body. A coat of paint covers the wall or covers whatever you want paint on. A coat of paint. And again, here we hear the word stuff. A lot of stuff, not things, not stuffs. Things is okay, but here it's stuff. All of my stuff, a lot of stuff. Number 6 is A. The neighbors are very, very annoying. They're nosy. They annoy me. They bother me. They disturb me because they don't leave me alone. They're getting involved in my business too much. Annoying neighbors. Number 6A. Listen again and check task 2. Now, what is the good point? Task 1, what was the negative point? What they don't like. Task 2, what is the good point? Something they do like about each place. Go ahead. Number 1 is E. The neighbors are fantastic, but it's just too small. Not enough room for all my stuff. Not enough space, I should say. Number 2 is C. It's convenient for shopping. In other words, a very good location. The location is good, but the condition is bad. Number 3 is D. Nice and quiet on the weekends in the suburbs, but too far to drive. Long commute during rush hour. Location is a problem, but it's nice and quiet on the weekends. D. Number 4 is F. Perfect location, but very expensive. I can't afford it. Number 4, F. Number 5 is A. It's huge, big place, but old and worn out and falling apart. Good points and bad points. Number 6, the rent is cheaper. Always cheaper rent is a good thing, right? We always want to save money, but the neighbors, not so good. Number 6, B. If you need to listen again one more time. Part 3, page 28. Task 1, people are talking about why they moved to different places. Does the information in the chart describe their old place or their new place? Which one is it? Old place or new place? They'll talk about both. The old place they used to live in and the new place that they moved into. Listen and check task 1. Number one, the old place had very loud neighbors. Look at the picture up above. Oh, loud and noisy and messy. They make a mess with their pizza and their sodas. Anyway, the old place had loud neighbors. The new place has quiet neighbors. Much, much better, I think. Number two, the old place had traffic noise, too much noise. On the first floor, lots of traffic noise right on the road. The new place up high on a high floor, no noise at all. New place, no noise at all, traffic noise, old place. Number three, the old place had a wonderful landlady. Landlady means Jeep Juin, the person who owns the house, and woman. Remember, landlady is the woman, landlord is the man. Landlady, landlord. The new place is close to a good school, very important for their children. So they moved close to a good school for their children in the new place. The old place had the wonderful landlady. Number four, the old place, no pets allowed. The thing was means the problem, the issue. The problem was I couldn't have a pet. The new place is near a park, and I can have a pet and go walking in the park with my pet. Number five, the great stove is in the new place. The old place had a small dining room, too small to have parties. The new place has a great stove, and now you can have nice dinner parties at your new place with the great stove. Number six, expensive to take care of is the old place. The new place is a lot cheaper. To take care of means to maintain, like maintenance, computer maintenance, car maintenance. Maintaining something is taking care of it, fixing it, keeping it in good condition. Well, the old place was beautiful, but it was very expensive to maintain, very expensive to take care of. The new place, much, much cheaper, maybe better. Listen again. Check your answers for part one and also look at task two. What kind of places do they live in now? Where are they now exactly? Listen and check your answer. Number one, now we live in a house in the suburbs, B. No more noisy neighbors upstairs. Number one is B. Number two, B, an apartment on a high floor, right? No traffic noise. Up high, it's much, much quieter. Maybe you hear the birds, but no traffic and no people on the street, B. Number three, again, B, an apartment in the suburbs, close to a very good school. But we don't have our wonderful landlady anymore, but our apartment in the suburbs is close to a good school. Number four is a building near the park where you can have pets, you can walk your pets, your dogs, your cats, whatever pet you have. She's in a building near a beautiful park. Good for her. Number five is C, an apartment with a huge kitchen and a great stove. And number six, A, an apartment with no yard. The old apartment had 2 yards, too expensive to take care of, too expensive to maintain. The new place is small, no yard, much cheaper to maintain. I think that one was a bit tough. I recommend listening again one more time. Listen to everything, check the new words, the vocabulary, the key points, and of course, check your answers one more time for task one and task two. Final one, page 29. Of course, I sent you the listening file for task one. Listen and repeat. You can do that on your own, self-study. Now, together, let's do the dictation. Listen to the conversation and write down the missing words. Go ahead, listen 2 times. Fill in the blanks, and then come back. Do you like your new apartment? Oh, I love it. My neighbors are really friendly. Neighbors, plural, are really friendly. Neighbors are really. And the landlord is nice. Remember, landlord is the man. Landlady is the woman who owns your house or apartment. Landlord is the man. What's the building like? The building is, now capital T, the building. The beginning of the sentence must have a capital. The, capital T, building is 10 stories high, 10 floors. Each story, a story is a floor. So 10 floors, 10 stories high. Finally, she and her husband are doctors. Husband are doctors. Next door neighbor means literally the next door to you. If you're in a big apartment building, you have your door. Next to you is your next door neighbor. You can also use this for a house. Your house, and then the house next to you is your next door neighbor. She and her husband are doctors. Listen again one more time. All right, how'd you do on the dictation? Good. That's all for Unit 7. That's all for housing. We have one more unit to go in our course. We'll see that next week with Unit 8. That's all for this week, everyone. Great job. Good work. Thanks for being with me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.